For nearly half a century, one machine has traveled farther than any human creation in history. No crew. No weapons. No map. Only a fading signal drifting endlessly through the dark. And now, after 45 years alone in deep space, that signal has changed. Not with static. Not with silence. But with something far stranger. Because according to engineers monitoring the ancient spacecraft, Voyager 1 recently began transmitting data that should not exist. Patterns. Repeating structures. Signal distortions. And moments where the spacecraft appeared to respond to something no scientist could explain. At first, NASA believed the probe was dying. Its hardware is older than the internet. Its memory is smaller than a digital photo. Its systems were never designed to survive this long. But what happened next forced some researchers to consider a possibility they once mocked as science fiction. What if Voyager 1 didn't simply enter interstellar space? What if it crossed a boundary? A threshold hidden beyond the protective shell of our solar system. A place where the rules of physics begin to warp. A place humanity was never meant to see. And if that's true, then the most distant object ever built by humans may have just made first contact with something waiting in the dark. Tonight, we descend into the mystery of Voyager 1. The machine that may have discovered something impossible at the edge of reality itself. Chapter 1. The machine that refused to die. In 1977, humanity launched 2 robotic explorers into space. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. At the time, no one expected them to survive longer than a few years. The mission was simple. Study Jupiter and Saturn. Capture images. Collect data. Then disappear into the void forever. But the Voyagers did something no one predicted. They survived. And not only survived, they kept going. Past Jupiter's violent storms. Past Saturn's frozen rains. Past Uranus. Past Neptune. Beyond every major planet in our solar system. They became the first machines to enter the great darkness between stars. Interstellar space. Even today, Voyager 1 continues traveling at over 38,000 miles per hour. Every second, it moves farther away from Earth. Farther from the Sun. Farther from humanity itself. And yet somehow, it still speaks. Its signal takes more than 22 hours to reach Earth. Think about that. Every command NASA sends takes nearly an entire day to arrive. And another day for Voyager's response to return. A conversation across almost unimaginable distance. But perhaps the most shocking part is how primitive Voyager actually is. Its computer memory is roughly 69 kilobytes. Less processing power than a cheap calculator. No artificial intelligence. No advanced navigation. No self-repair systems. And yet this tiny machine crossed the solar system and entered regions no human being has ever seen. For decades, engineers slowly shut parts of it down. First the cameras. Then heaters. Then scientific instruments. Every shutdown felt like a funeral. A small piece of the mission dying forever. But Voyager kept surviving. As if the spacecraft itself refused to let go. And then, in recent years, its voice began to change. Chapter 2. The Edge of the Sun. To understand why scientists became alarmed, you first need to understand where Voyager is. Most people think the solar system ends at Pluto. It doesn't. Far beyond the planets exists an invisible bubble created by the Sun. A massive region dominated by solar wind and magnetic energy. This bubble is called the heliosphere. And at its outer boundary lies something known as the heliopause. The edge. The final border where the Sun's influence collides with interstellar space. For decades, scientists predicted what this boundary would look like. Chaotic. Violent. Turbulent. A storm of magnetic instability. But when Voyager 1 crossed the heliopause in 2012, something unexpected happened. The magnetic field barely changed direction. That should have been impossible. Particle density increased exactly as expected. But the magnetic alignment remained strangely consistent. As though the boundary between our solar system and interstellar space was somehow connected. Almost stitched together. Scientists were confused. Then Voyager 2 crossed years later, and reported nearly the same thing. Two spacecraft. Different locations. Different times. Yet similar anomalies. The models were wrong. Badly wrong. And the deeper researchers looked, the stranger the data became. Interstellar space appeared denser than expected. Chapter 5. The impossible synchronization. Then the mystery expanded. Voyager 2 began reporting anomalies too. Not identical, but disturbingly similar. Signal timing irregularities. Magnetic disturbances. Unexpected radiation changes. The two spacecraft are separated by billions of miles. Different trajectories. Different environments. And yet their anomalies appeared synchronized. Statistically, this made little sense. The odds were extraordinarily low. Unless, the disturbances were connected. Some researchers proposed a massive interstellar structure influencing both spacecraft simultaneously. Not a planet. Not a star. Something larger. Something invisible. Perhaps a magnetic wall. Perhaps an energetic membrane. Or perhaps a phenomenon humanity has never discovered before. The idea sounds absurd. But space itself contains structures beyond comprehension. Galactic filaments stretch across unimaginable distances. Magnetic fields weave through entire regions of the galaxy. Dark matter shapes gravity without ever being directly seen. The universe is filled with invisible architecture. So what if the Voyagers encountered part of it? A perimeter. A border. A cosmic threshold. And if there is a perimeter, then perhaps there is also a center. A source. Something hidden beyond the reach of our understanding. Something aware enough to notice when humanity arrived. Chapter 6. Theories no one wants to say out loud officially. NASA has never suggested alien contact. No credible scientist has claimed Voyager encountered intelligent life. But the silence surrounding the anomalies has fueled endless speculation. Especially because several internal discussions reportedly involved specialists far outside normal spacecraft engineering. Eye-pattern analysts. Quantum theorists. Signal experts. Even researchers focused on theoretical spacetime behavior. Why involve them? Because the data refused to fit conventional explanations. Some oscillation frequencies appeared inconsistent with Voyager's hardware. Certain repeating structures resembled feedback loops no one expected. And perhaps most unsettling of all, some researchers privately admitted the anomalies appeared responsive. Not intelligent in a human sense, but reactive. As though the environment itself interacted with the spacecraft. That possibility terrified people. Because if true, Voyager may have entered a region where information behaves differently. A place where signals echo, reflect, distort, or become entangled with surrounding space itself. One theoretical model proposed something astonishing. A space-time gradient. Not a wormhole. Not a black hole. But a transition zone. A place where the fabric of reality behaves differently than inside our solar system. If such a region exists, it could alter electromagnetic transmissions in unpredictable ways. It could affect timing, signal coherence, even the behavior of particles. And Voyager, traveling deeper into that region every second, might be revealing physics humanity has never witnessed before. Chapter 7. The fear beneath the science, but beneath all the technical explanations lies something deeper. Fear. Because Voyager represents humanity itself. A tiny fragile object carrying our voices into the universe. Inside the spacecraft is the famous golden record. Sounds of Earth. Music. Greetings. Human laughter. A message intended for alien civilizations. For decades, it felt symbolic. Romantic. Hopeful. But now some wonder whether Voyager's message was heard. And whether something responded. Not with words. But with presence. A distortion. A signal. A subtle acknowledgement from the dark. The terrifying part is not the idea of aliens. It's the scale. Because if intelligence exists beyond the heliopause, it may not resemble life as we imagine it. It may not use spacecraft. Or language. Or biology. It could exist as something woven into the structure of space itself. An intelligence operating across magnetic fields and cosmic energy. Something ancient beyond comprehension. Something impossible for human minds to fully understand. And Voyager, our lonely drifting machine, may have accidentally touched it. Chapter 8. The universe after Voyager. Since the anomalies began, discussions surrounding deep space exploration have changed. Quietly. Subtly. Scientists now speak more cautiously about the heliosphere. About interstellar space. About the limits of human models. Because Voyager exposed an uncomfortable truth. Humanity does not truly understand what lies beyond the sun's protective bubble. We assumed interstellar space was mostly empty. Silent. Dead. But Voyager revealed complexity. Structure. Movement. Mysteries. And possibly, boundaries. Future missions may eventually follow Voyager's path.